So why is everyone hyped for Path of Exile 2? It's kind of strange, really, if you think about it, because Path of Exile 1 is a very niche game. You know, it's a niche genre, ARPG, and then within that genre, Path of Exile is also pretty niche, right? It's definitely not a game for beginners. You know, it doesn't do a good job of explaining itself and how it works to a new player. And a lot of times, new players kind of, there's a point where they see the skill tree, right? This huge skill tree, and they just clock out, you know, not worth it to me, too much to learn. I'm here to play games and relax. This isn't going to work for me, right? And then there's a certain subset of people that where they see that and they go, oh, hell yeah, like that's exactly what I want. I want to dive deep into a system. I want to get really, complex and figure out what builds I can do on my own and all that stuff. But, you know, for the most part, a lot of people that play Path of Exile 1, they're just following a build guide made by someone, right? Because doing your own build and actually being viable in the game is pretty hard. And, you know, the game just isn't very casual friendly. With all that being said, it comes as kind of a surprise, right, to a lot of people that Path of Exile 2 all of a sudden is blowing up. But it shouldn't be a surprise, really, because if you look at Path of Exile and its history and its track record of continuous improvement, Path of Exile 2 is taking everything great about the series, which is that it's an incredible action RPG, and it's distilling it down and streamlining it a little bit, not too much, right? It's not going to be like a cakewalk of a game, but it's getting to a point where it's not just a game for the die-hard crowd, right? It's a game that the die-hard crowd can thrive in, right? They're going to love it. They're going to feel at home. But the new players, the casual players, they also have a place here in Path of Exile 2. And how come I'm so sure of that, right? Because if you watch the hour-long video that they put out, it's just constant systems and constant new types of content and gameplay. And I mean, it's a lot. But that's kind of why this thing is blowing up. It's because this game is coming out in early access December 6th, right? And it's coming out more finished and with more content than many major releases that are $70 nowadays, right? This game is going to be free, just like the first one. Obviously, to get early access, I think you have to pay $30, right? What's important really is that it's $30 for a complete experience. And I'm sure it's complete because I've seen the gameplay, right? Like when they show gameplay of this game, it is clear that it's feature complete. Things are working. Now, are they going to have balancing issues, right? Are they going to have maybe some bugs here and there? Absolutely. This game is, you know, it's going to have that. But the amount of which is going to be in the game is going to pale in comparison to games like Cyberpunk 2077 or Starfield, right? These big releases that are just so hyped up beyond belief. You pay $70 for them, $60 for them. Game comes out, it's a piece of shit, right? Doesn't work, doesn't run, half the mechanics don't work, there's not enough content there, especially in Starfield's case where, I mean, it's a copy-paste game. Like, things are being copy-pasted over and over again. Path of Exile 2 clearly is complete. You know, one main way to tell that the game is actually complete is the way the developers talk about the game as they show this hour's worth of gameplay, right? Like, it's kind of like when, you know, you're at school and you have to give like a presentation and you're just bullshitting, you know, and the teacher can tell you're bullshitting. Like, you clearly didn't study, you didn't do the homework, and now you're here, day of, you're trying to like pass this presentation off so you could like barely scrape by and get a C, right? But that's what they avoid. So when you watch gameplay trailers of other games or, you know, little developer documentaries of other developers, like, the way they talk about their game is very vague, extremely vague. Like, they'll say, oh, in this expansion of World of Warcraft, go on crazy adventures with your friends and defeat the evil so-and-so and, you know, relive, like, previous memories of Warcraft's biggest heroes. Just some shit, you know, just some shit that means nothing. It's just flavor text, flavor language, you know. They're not doing that here. Like, you watch this, they're like, okay, so this is how this class works. You know, the warrior's got these kind of weapons, and these are the kind of moves you can do with them, and these are the skills you have. But then you can, you know, use these modifiers to these skills to change them a little bit. You could have totems. You can have a shield and the sword, and your shield blocks all damage, and you can do a shield charge, and you can make a wall of stone around you. Like, dude, these guys are just like, they're just telling you everything. They're not hiding behind anything. There's no flavor language. And that's crazy to say because there's an hour's worth of footage, an hour's worth of like video they put up where it's constant gas. They don't let off the pedal, and there's no filler. There's no anime filler. You don't have to sit through a whole arc before the next one comes out. This is just what it is. And that's why people are hyped about it, because when was the last time that happened? Like Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3? It never happens. And when it does, it's very obvious, right? Another reason why people are hyped for this game is they've seen it and it looks great to play, right? It looks fun. It's really rare to find a game where you just see the footage and go, wow, that looks like it controls very well, right? The only games that I kind of think do that are like platformer games, you know, like if you watch someone play Celeste or someone play Mario Wonder, you can tell those games control well. This is one of those situations where the gameplay just looks like it's a joy to control. The combat looks incredible, and they've showcased the combat in like many different ways with the ranged weapons and the magic and the raising the minions and then using, you know, 2 double-handed maces and like just crazy stuff that it's so explicit, it's so in your face about what it is, and we've seen it all, so it looks just fun to play. And also visually, right? Like, you can't get beside the fact that visually the game looks incredible, right? Not only does it look incredible, it looks like it runs really well too, which, you know, half the games coming out these days run like shit. Like Stalker 2 just came out. You need like a behemoth of a computer just to get 1080p 60 frames per second, you know? It's like they're avoiding all the typical pitfalls, right? They're avoiding like having long cutscenes and unskippable stuff and narrative that nobody cares about. They're avoiding bringing in, you know, bullshit human politics into this game about a fantasy world. They're avoiding, you know, just everything that you're probably sick of when you play a game. They're avoiding it. And that's why it's popular. It's not popular because all of a sudden ARPGs are the genre. It's not like, you know, this is the type of game that everyone wants to play. But it's just that there's a lot of people out there, they just want to play a game and they want it to be good and they want it to be done. They want it to be complete. They want to buy the game and they want to play it and they want to have a good fucking time. And we know that this is going to deliver on that. It's not going to be the perfect game, but it's going to be the game for people who are looking for something like that, right? So yeah, that was a long rant, all just to say that the moment-to-moment gameplay, it looks great. That kind of leads me on to my next point, monetization and player engagement, keeping players hooked to this game. A lot of times you see these, you know, development models that are basically just psychologically trying to get you to stay in their game, right? Whether it's Call of Duty with their engagement optimized matchmaking system, which is some algorithm that makes sure you maximize your playtime so that you can buy more shit in their stupid microtransaction store, right? Or, you know, World of Warcraft, where it's just like get another expansion out, have some seasonal stuff, you know, make them stay. Or it's Fortnite, where it's like, oh, season pass, battle pass, get the Fortnite battle pass, get the fucking Helldivers battle pass, whatever. Like, there's always a battle pass. There's always something, some seasonal bullshit. And people are tired of this. I have fatigue from this, personally. Like, I can't be bothered. The next time a game shoves that in my face, I actually probably just won't engage with it, right? And it's already been happening. Like, how many times do you log on Steam and all 50 billion of your games are like, hey, you know, we just released a new update. Come check out our new gun in Halo Infinite. It's like, dude, like, no. That's not going to happen, dude. I am not going to sit there. Path of Exile 2 seemingly is avoiding that as well. Now, am I saying they're not having seasonal content? No. What I'm saying is the way they're going to keep you playing their game is by making it fun. Wow, what a concept. I know, it's fucking crazy. But that's not really the goal of a lot of games these days. It's not to keep you playing because it's fun. It's to keep you playing to make more money. Now, I get it that it's a business, and so does Grinding Gear Games. They offer microtransactions, they offer skins and all that shit, right? Not against any of this inherently. It's just that the incentives are all wrong, right? Like, a game studio is always incentivized to kind of destroy the game for the sake of profit, right? World of Warcraft's a great example. It's literally a online role-playing game. The whole point of the game is to start with a very low-level character and progress and feel your character getting stronger over time up to a point where you've spent a lot of time in the game, you've invested a lot in your character, and he's very strong now, right? That's the whole point of the game. It's been ruined because the best way to level up in World of Warcraft now is to just buy the max level boost, right? You just pay to get there, and then you have to pay for the expansions, and then you have to pay. You could pay for WoW tokens, which you could, turn into gold, like all this shit. They're avoiding that. There's none of that shit in the game. You could buy some skins, sure. The game's main strength is moment-to-moment gameplay. That's how they're going to keep you engaged, and they're going to keep putting out more shit for you to do. Not just to maximize your engagement, but to be like, hey, I did everything in this game. Oh, you're adding a new zone, you're adding new enemies for free, and there's more bosses and more challenges to take on, and there's no strings attached, right? That leaves a great taste in everyone's mouth. Like, it's the complete opposite of what you see with the typical Battle Pass model, Season Pass model. And that's refreshing. And having them be transparent and open about what they're monetizing too is another thing. Like, when was the last time a developer got on a camera and told you, hey, we're going to sell skins, we have a supporter pack, we have 3 tiers of, buying, the early access, and this is what it gets you, no in-game advantage, just cosmetics, right? In a time where we're all really busy, we all have lives to live, we all have jobs to go to, not all of us are fucking sitting around playing video games all day. The games we spend our time playing have to be good. Like, we want to have fun, goddammit, right? And I'm happy to pay for it, but clearly, with Path of Exile 2, you don't have to. Clearly, this is a labor of love. Obviously, it's a business, and they're going to want to make money. And this is the kind of game you want to support, right? Now, everything I said, take it with a pound of salt, right? Because the game officially is not out. It might come out and suffer the same fate as games prior, but from what I've seen so far, no, it won't. And I think people are confident about that too. This game is going to be a surprise sleeper hit this year. Guaranteed. Well, I guess the year's almost over, but whenever it comes out officially, I think it might be a contender for Game of the Year, or at least for the category of like live service games, right? Because it is an absolute gem in a field full of rocks. So I think that's all I have to say about POE 2. I'm really excited to play it. I will be getting early access on December 6th, and I'll be playing a little bit, recording some footage, drop some initial thoughts. But let me know what you think, right? Is this the kind of game you're into? Are you excited for it? What are you worried about? What are you not worried about? Just let me know what's going on in the comments. Thanks, guys. See you later.